negative, right? To change your hair color and have it as unruly as possible. I'm thinking, okay, I did brush my hair for you.
Great, that's great.
So there's questions in the chat box. I don't know if you want me to read them to you.
Well, I can look at them.
Okay.
I think. Let's see. Chat. Did anyone else lose sound?
Oh, that was my problems that I was having. So just go down a little bit.
Up. Go up in the chat box.
I don't see. That's all I see.
Okay.
Scroll up.
So you can ask me the questions.
Yeah. Okay. So Marilyn, look, Thea is here. Thea Wallace from my area. Remember Thea?
Hello, Thea. How are you?
Well, you're looking great.
Thank you. I have to remember that my camera's over there and the computer's down here.
I think she has a question for you. She has it in the chat box, but go ahead if you can tell it there, because she can't see the chat box, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure why, but...
Well, about 4 months ago, I all of a sudden started speaking light language. And I feel very peaceful doing it. It just comes from my heart. It just comes out. It gets expanded. And I have 2 questions. Like, why do we suddenly begin to have light language come through us? And who is bringing in the sounds to us? Is it spirit, collective family, or higher self? I took your channeling class about 1.5 years ago, and Adironda, when you go by, said you're beginning to write light language. Then I said, yeah, right, not me. And so
here, and they probably said, change your bracelet.
Yeah, exactly. And so here we are, and those are my 2 basic first questions.
Well, the light language, and it's so fascinating that you bring this up. I had my Channelers Academy office hours this afternoon, and that was a topic of discussion. And then we had the New York How to Channel class yesterday, and that was a topic of discussion. So it's fascinating. It may be coming in more and more. The language of light, so it brings in, as you know, an encodement in your heart and in your inner field, much more than to your mind. And there are more and more people that are spontaneously speaking it. It seems that the galactics, and those, when I say the galactics, they have communicated with us in many different ways. And the galactics are a group of beings from multiple galaxies that have come through me before and have asked for help. They came through, I think, last weekend in the Los Angeles channel during the How to Channel class. And or maybe it was on the double digit. I've done so much channeling lately. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not in my body, obviously. And they alluded to some very specific things that were going to begin happening. It's possible that the language of light that you are experiencing and multiple other people are experiencing are a part of that. That's a very strong possibility. The language of light is different for each person. And first of all, congratulations. And to know that, as you know, if you've done it, Thea, you just get to go with it. It's not anything that is unusual. It's not anything that is, well, it is pretty unusual. It's not anything that you have any control over. The only control that I have found is at the end of when I do light language, I stop and you can see the energy kind of shift if you're up close. And then I ask for translation. And that translation then comes in, and I get what was said, or it may not translate into a language that we can understand, but it comes close.
Yeah. Great.
So I think that why it's happened, it may be you're one of the helpers for the galactics, for their energy to come through here on this planet.
Yeah. Thank.
Yeah, how cool is that?
I've been telling her that from the beginning.
Well, Thea, you are a little galactic. I don't know if you knew that, but now you know. You know, I've never asked where it comes from, or what galaxy or what language is being spoken. I've never asked. I think, you know, our linear mind, our linear ego kind of wants to know, but I don't know that it's ours to know. I do know that when I need to stop all these little bells and whistles on my computer, don't I? I thought I shut them up, but I didn't. With that energy, when I have communicated with the beings of light from other planets, depending on where I am, the language is different. Like when I was down in Cancun and we went to Exbalam, I can never remember exactly what it was called, but that's where one of the most ancient races of Aztecs were there. And the language that Adironda, or a being, they said that they were one of the warriors that were there. And it sounded like their original language, which now is nearly extinct. When I was in Israel, it sounded much like Aramaic or Hebrew, depending on where we were. So I think that it's something that goes beyond what our physical words can communicate, and it goes into the heart and into the inner realm of our field, that we can feel.
John, can you please turn it down a little bit?
Consciously connect with that so much. I know that if you've started doing that, you may, especially if Adironda said you're going to start writing it, you haven't yet, you may start getting it. And what Adironda has said many times, when you're writing the language, if you get symbols or a series of symbols, they are like a library of information from that galaxy. So that may be what you're experiencing. Woohoo!
Thank you. I'll get my paper and pen out.
Yeah, I would say when you're channeling, when you're connecting with that, have your paper and pen there, have your pen in hand, and be ready just in case. I know Adironda has written out signals in a language of light, and has told people, put this by your bed at night when you sleep, and you'll get information there.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Johanna, you had a question for her about being a Blu-ray and about your actual the things that you do, making energy jewelry, and about entities.
Yes.
Would you like to go ahead and ask Marilyn about that?
Okay,
about
great.
Blu-ray.
Thank you, Sheila. Hi, Marilyn. I'm Johanna.
Hello, Johanna. Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too. So real quickly, I had a medical medium once tell me that I was a Blu-ray being, and I felt like royalty when he said that, but I didn't know why. I'm like, what do you mean a Blu-ray? Like, I don't know what that is.
Did he explain it?
No, he told me to go to a website and look it up. I went to Shekinah Rose, and I could feel her energy from Arizona, Sedona, but I still don't quite know all of what it is or who we are.
Well, my information on the Blu-rays is maybe different than what it says in Google, because I don't read Google and I don't read anybody else's work. This is what I've heard Adironda communicate.
Okay.
And it's also fascinating. Have you had a session with me in the last 2 weeks?
No, not yet. I'll say not yet.
Okay. So, I'm no longer doing private sessions because this was scheduled last October.
Oh.
And she's just now having the session, and she asked about the Blu-rays.
Oh.
So it's like, how odd is that?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's like, this is very synchronistic, and that might be a good question for Adironda.
Okay.
And Adironda will be coming in later, since it's not 11 o'clock at night like I thought it was going to be.
Oh,
Okay.
This is what I know.
Okay.
Of the 12 root races of extraterrestrials, the blues and the light beings are the two highest, most evolved races. The blues and the blue ray, they come in through the Arcturian energy, which is the blue planet, and the blue planet series, which is where, interestingly enough, Adironda is from.
Okay.
The blue ray of light is the will of source.
Okay.
And so if you are a part of that galactic, I hope I'm not getting too woo-woo for y'all.
No, I'm actually vibing right with what you're saying, and I want to go all the way.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it.
Yeah, if you are a part of that, and that would be something that Adironda would definitely confirm, that it's highly evolved. It's a little frustrating sometimes to be on this planet.
Oh, every
unless
day.
You see it as unless you see it as entertainment. So you might think about that.
My husband actually says every day, he's like, you crack yourself up with humor, huh? And I'm like, well, yes, I find a lot of things amusing.
And that's good. That's good, because as a blue or a blue ray, you know what it's like to be much more evolved than the humans here, even though it's interesting that they're sending the galactics to this planet to learn.
Yeah.
To learn the emotional body, because they've evolved beyond it. You may find that as a blue coming through Arcturians normally have a little difficult time with love, a little difficult time with relationships until they kind of get it. And that's one of the things that they're here to learn.
It all resonates on a quantum level.
Good. So congratulations for that too.
Oh, thank you so much for your time and for being here. So more to come.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Marilyn, Melissa has a question. She's been I have channeled while journaling. Is there a way to translate that into channeling orally? Is there a difference? Now, this is a lot what you teach in your How to Channel workshop. So this is excellent question.
Excellent question. It's exactly what I teach. And we now, which I don't even think that you know about the Channelers Academy, Sheila.
I don't. Just everything else that I do. But I'm going to find out more about it.
And the Channelers Academy is a new program that we're just offering this year. But, if you're channeling while you're writing,